Now at 5:30, dirty water coming out of faucets. People living in Norton say it's disgusting and unacceptable.
Bath time at Penny Hyda's Norton home is hit or miss. She shows us what often happens when she fills the tub. The water turns a darker and darker brown, and today isn't even that bad.
The other day it was much worse than this. I think it's disgusting. I have grandchildren. I don't want them bathing in that.
Across town, it's a pretty good day at Kathy Charlton's.
This morning my water was yellow, and now the water is clear.
But a lot of the time she says it looks like these pictures from a Facebook page called Sick of Dirty Water in Norton, where residents who've been dealing with the problem for several years come to vent.
It's to the point now where you can't cook with it, you can't bathe with it, or you better hope that you're having a good day before you take a shower.
What's happening? Norton gets its water from town wells. The town's water superintendent wouldn't talk to us on camera, but says the water meets health standards. However, it's high in iron and manganese, and that causes the discoloration, especially when they flush the fire hydrants to clear out the pipes. But residents we talk to say it happens more often than not, and they're forced to buy bottled water. And that's not the only cost.
We've had to replace the dishwasher. We've had to replace a hot water heater. We're on our third or fourth wash machine.
Brown and dirty water has been a problem in Norton for years. A lot of residents have brown water coming out of the faucet, and they obviously don't want to drink it because they don't want to get sick. And they don't want to shower in it because it'd be coming out of the shower dirtier than when they went in. And they can't clean their clothes because their clothes get stained brown. My mom even told me the water tastes weird and it makes her tongue feel weird. I've heard a lot about this issue over the years because I live in Norton myself, but I haven't actually experienced the discolored water except for one time when the ice cubes in my freezer turned brown.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but these images from Jackie McMenamin's phone have rendered her speechless.
It's completely undrinkable. I don't like to shower in it.
The first-time homebuyer moved to Norton in July of 2018. Since then, things she used to take for granted are now impossible, like taking a bath, washing her whites, or filling a glass of water from the sink. It's because of the high levels of iron and manganese in the town's water.
So there's a building right here that was torn down. It's near where I live. They did some tests on it and found out that there's leaking asbestos and chemicals and oil into the water, which then can leach into the town's wells, so we could be drinking that. This relates to the Roof Depot case because the city of Minneapolis wanted to demolish the building that would release arsenic into the air, kind of like they demolished this building, which is now leaking chemicals and stuff into the ground and water.
We have been showing you disturbing images like these for years, and now we've learned the dirty Norton tap water may finally be getting fixed. A brand new water treatment facility is up and running, and water rates are increasing to pay for that multi-million-dollar plant.
So the town finally constructed the water treatment facility. This seemed to fix the problem mostly. It got rid of the brown water. I haven't really heard anything about brown water recently. This is the Easton Water Treatment Facility. It's not the Norton one because the Easton one is closer where I live, and I don't know where the Norton one is.
This plant specifically filters the iron and manganese with the assistance of some chemicals through sand filters, removing all the particulates of the iron and manganese.
Now that the facility has been built, there has been chemicals in the water though. This is a report from the Norton Water Department from this year in April. It says there's a high level of trihalomethanes in the water, which is a byproduct of the disinfecting of the water at the treatment facility. And this I got in the mail. This is like the same thing, basically. And this is a paper I got at the end of 2023. This is about PFAS6, which is a man-made chemical. It says affects the liver, blood, immune system, thyroid, fetal development. The PFAS6 may also elevate the risk of certain cancers. So yeah, you don't want to be ingesting that. This is one of the 5 wells in Norton. This is the closest one to my house. So 3 of the wells are connected to the new treatment facility, but this one isn't one of them. And this well also tested high for manganese. So the water that gets treated at the facility has chemicals and stuff in it, but the water that doesn't get filtered, like the water from this well, has high manganese, so both water sources aren't really great. It's not really immediately unhealthy to ingest this stuff. It's like it kind of builds up over time, because your body naturally kind of gets rid of it. But if you're drinking too much of it, it builds up faster than you can get rid of it, and it disproportionately affects children and elderly people, pregnant and nursing women. This is the Norton Reservoir, which is pretty nasty, so I hope the water isn't leaking into the wells. But the surface level solution for this issue is to buy bottled water, which is very common because it's what pretty much everyone does in the town. And this does create a small issue though, which is it costs more money, which, you know, if you don't have a lot of money, that might be a little bit of a bigger problem. A deeper solution would be to pressure the water department. The superintendent of the water department said this is like low on their priority list, so if we pressure them, they might push it up on the list of priorities. As for the domains of power, the first one, the structural domain, would be the Norton Water Department. The cultural domain would be buying bottled water because it's almost a part of Norton culture to buy bottled water. The interpersonal domain would be my mom telling me she doesn't like the tap water because it tastes weird and it makes her tongue feel weird. This whole situation is very similar to the Flint, Michigan water crisis. In both cases, we have contaminated water, but here we have manganese and trihalomethanes, but they have lead, which is probably a lot worse. This issue relates to biopower because the water department has power over the water, which is then consumed by the residents, which affects their health. So the water department has power over the health of the residents. This issue also relates to standpoint theory, because from my standpoint, I could have not known about the dirty water in Norton. I could have thought that the water in Norton was fine because I didn't really have any problems with it, even though people in other parts of town had problems. Living in Norton, I have heard a lot of bad things about the water, but someone who lives outside of Norton, from their standpoint, they probably wouldn't know anything was wrong. Lastly, this relates to master narratives and counter narratives, because the residents of Norton had one narrative that they thought the pipes were causing the brown water, but the water department said that wasn't the case. Alright, that's it.